When Quant chose to integrate XDC Network, it came as a bit of a surprise. Now keep in mind that prior to this, they really only had the major chains like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polygon, Ripple, Avalanche, etc. So to see XDC added next was kind of interesting. And I'm not saying that because I dislike the network or anything like that. I think XDC is a great project, and their connections with the ITFA, TFD, United Nations, and ICC just prove that even further. But in terms of recognition and size, XDC is a little bit more on the unknown side of things when you compare it to some of the large caps on the market. And while large trade companies and organizations would obviously know about XDC, is that really why Quant chose to add XDC Network into Overledger so early on? Well, that's what we're here to find out today. If you want to follow along, I wrote a thread about this on Twitter or X, breaking down the whole thing, which I'll link right in the description below. But with that said, let's get right into it. I'm not going to be going over the full thread in this video presentation just because that kind of defeat the purpose of the thread, right? But I did want to highlight some of these connections and just to, give you guys a better understanding to start off. So let's just get started. So to start off, we know that Quant was accepted into Oracle's global startup ecosystem all the way back in February of 2019. And so that's been quite a while now, right? So let's see how that's progressed since then. We know that Quant's also been added to Oracle's FinTech program, and this was in June 15 of 2020, so just about a year after they joined their startup ecosystem. So this is a little bit of an upgrade, right? You went from being in their startup ecosystem, which I would imagine is a bunch of earlier stage projects, to officially being a FinTech partner. And then if we go here, so this is a little under a year after the FinTech partner, right? April 13, 2021. We can see that Quant is actually now added into Oracle Cloud's marketplace. So again, another big upgrade now. You've gone from just in their FinTech ecosystem to all of Oracle's cloud solutions, which you would imagine has to be a pretty robust list of different clients in a variety of different industries. All right, now if we look down here, let's start focusing on the trade finance aspects of this a little more. So Oracle had created a trade finance platform a while ago, and they've had one for quite a while, obviously, but they've kind of upgraded to fit the future of digitalization a lot more. And so they kind of made this little presentation about it too. And so this was in October 2021. And do notice this digital engagement in trade finance here, because this will come back after, especially when we start mentioning the XDC bits. But let's just look at some of the language they used within this document. So it says host agnostic. The cloud solution works with any trade finance back office application. So it's an agnostic technology that allows you to work with any solution or technology used in trade finance apps. So it does get you thinking right off the bat here already, right? Like, what could provide this agnostic solution? And maybe we get some answers from this as we continue with the document, because here it says, therefore, API-enabled solutions will be key to connecting with the broader ecosystem. Well, where have we heard that before? Let's continue on though. We offer an API-ready architecture to continuously evaluate the market of emerging players and technologies to deliver the elevated innovation required to succeed in this new era of digital trade. And then here, these two will be more XDC focused connections. So if we look here, explicitly and unambiguously supporting the usage of electronic documents. So that goes to the UN and ICC's framework of MLETR, right? Model Law on Electronic Transfer Records. So that's pretty much to digitalize trade documents. And of course, we know one of XDC's applications, Inigio, is kind of one of the front runners for that. And we'll get back to Inigio very shortly. And then the second highlight here is endeavor to provide a space for all buyers and sellers on a single platform to bridge the liquidity gap, which does sound a little like what TradeFinX is offering, right? A single platform that connects all of trade finance together, and then XDC's entire mission of being that trade finance bridge for the liquidity gap. So things are lining up with Quant now, and they're lining up with XDC a little from, well, I shouldn't say XDC itself, but applications within XDC. Let's scroll down a little more. So again, more language that kind of seems very similar to what Quant is doing. We can see directly here, I highlighted the open APIs, and this one holds a little less weight because it's pretty much on the identification and KYC and AML of their clients and customers. But if we go here, so this is also just another part of the document. I just couldn't fit it all in one screenshot, but as we can see, Oracle Banking Trade Finance provides strong integration capability to coexist with the existing application landscape. Open API support allows for easy integration with any third-party or any legacy or third-party solution. So again, this is pretty much how Quant solves interoperability between different technologies, right? And they directly mention this. Like, open API support allows easy integration with any legacy or third-party solution. So it's saying that open APIs allow for the integration and communication, so for different technologies to work together. Whether they're legacy technologies, so some older ones, right? Or third-party ones, so ones that aren't quite in the current system. And then looking a little further in Oracle's banking trade finance, more API talks. Like, there is a lot of API discussion with Oracle's banking trade finance platform, and seeing that this was launched in October 2021, right? This was just a few months after Quant had been certified on Oracle's cloud marketplace. And as we're aware, a lot of business operations today are all done on cloud technology. So it does really make you wonder. And then this is pretty much just saying, like, why choose Oracle's banking trade finance. Again, we highlighted the REST APIs. It says easily integrate with any application through REST APIs. I don't think it gets really much more obvious than that when you're looking at connections within Quant. And then we see this Oracle Banking Trade Finance Blockchain Adapter. So this was actually launched before they launched the digital engagement in trade finance. This document was launched in June of 2020, but this does still kind of line up with some of the Quant connections if we go back here with the fintech partner, right? This was in June of 2020. So it does make you kind of wonder, like, because trade finance, fintech, they do kind of go hand in hand. And then as we're reading through this, so if we go through the highlights, blockchain transactions generated from or impacting the core banking system can be queried and viewed with Oracle Blockchain Trade Finance itself. So that's pretty much allowing the data from the current banking system to be visible on blockchain technology. Again, you need some form of communication for that data to flow together, right? And then the adapter can be used not only to interface Oracle Blockchain Trade Finance to blockchain systems, but also to other similar third-party applications to interface to blockchain systems. So again, interoperability with different technologies to blockchain technology. That's all I'll say. And then here, this is not quite revolved around Quant or XDC, but more of Oracle and TradeIX, which is a platform that's leveraging Oracle's cloud and R3's Corda. And from the highlight here, we can see that the marketplace will allow corporates to directly connect with multiple banks and other financial institutions to implement and manage their trade finance programs, leveraging the Corda DLT from R3 on the Oracle cloud. And so we know there's a couple connections within this rabbit hole of connections that connect to R3's Corda, right? On Quant's end, we know the work they've done with SIA and kind of like the close contacts they've had with R3 over the years. And then on the XDC end, we of course know there's Impel and there's DASL. But with XDC solutions, those are more for allowing XDC to be a settlement vehicle on Corda. So it may not be as relevant here, but anyways, let's continue talking more on XDC with Oracle. So if we look down here, so a lot of these connections aren't to do with directly XDC itself, but more so the applications on XDC with Oracle, which I think is actually even more powerful, because this goes to show that the trade finance focused applications on XDC are getting demand from potentially clients of Oracle, because why else would they have these two highlights here? So let's just quickly go over them. Inigio, this is a platform on XDC that's essentially digitalizing trade finance documents, because believe it or not, right now, pretty much everything in trade finance still has to be inked in pen and paper. I know it's stupid, but anyways. So this was a webinar between Inigio and Oracle, and the two of them pretty much had demonstrated proper document digitalization together, which if we go back here, explicitly and unambiguously supporting the usage of electronic documents. And then if we look here, this is TradeFinX. So TradeFinX is, you could think of it as like a middleware platform to connect different trade finance platforms together. And here it shows just a few of the different platforms it connects with, right? TradeShift, QuickBooks, Corda, and Oracle. If we go back above, so just keep in mind for now that TradeFinX is a middleware platform that's looking to connect other trade finance platforms together, right? So kind of creating a unified trade finance platform. Well, endeavor to provide a space for all buyers and sellers on a single platform to bridge the liquidity gap. Well, that lines up pretty well, right? This isn't to say, I should point out that this isn't to say that Oracle is confirmed saying TradeFinX will be the platform, but there's very good odds that, you know, having Oracle integrated with TradeFinX in addition to Corda, that's a huge part of the trade finance market there already. So, you know, this isn't to confirm anything, but there's a very good chance that a lot of the trade finance operations that happen in our digitalized future will be run through TradeFinX because of their kind of agnostic middleware capabilities in different trade finance applications. And last but not least, I just wanted to quickly touch up on the integration architecture. So this here is pretty much a diagram showing Oracle's blockchain connecting with their trade finance platform. If you've seen any of the quant related diagrams revolved around their partnerships, this shouldn't be much of a surprise. So here what we have are two separate banks, and then between these banks are blockchain adapters. So you start wondering, what are these blockchain adapters that allow these different banks to, you know, seamlessly communicate and use blockchain technology without having to, you know, set up their own blockchain, for example, or use a public permissionless chain, which most banks probably won't ever do. But anyways, so these blockchain adapters are communicating through REST API calls. And we can see a REST API call on this end too. So right away, that gets you thinking, right? Like Oracle's been talking a lot about REST APIs throughout this whole trade finance platform. And here we directly see it with this agnostic adapter connecting different banks together. So I'm not saying it's over Ledger, but where else do we see a solution like this? And then this is the business process workflow for buyer's credit. This just kind of, you know, expands on the proof of concept a lot more. This kind of shows the integration, and this is how it all works in action. Of course, I'm not going to go through every part of this in this video. I think I've already dragged this on a little too long, but we can see the REST API service calls are once again right here. And these blockchain adapters are kind of what's connecting everything together from these banks to Nostro correspondence. And we can see the Swift network here too, communicating with these other banks. So all of this really does make you wonder, what could really be going on behind the scenes? Now, this video isn't to confirm anything, because as I was saying, a bulk of the information will be in the thread itself, but you really do have to wonder, like, what's kind of going on behind the scenes with why Quant decided to integrate XDC, right? Because out of all chains, they've chosen some really big ones, right? Like Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ripple. We can understand why they chose those. Those are kind of the main ones that are being talked about. But XDC is one that's kind of out there, right? And as much as I love the project XDC, it's, far from being as well known as Ripple or Ethereum. There's a long list of other blockchains they could have chosen to integrate, but they chose XDC. And by the looks of this, because of the overlap in, trade finance operations, they're and their common goals of, digitalizing trade and a single platform to bridge the liquidity gap. And then if we add these in too, it's clear that, some of the applications on XDC are clearly connected with Oracle. And then, of course, I don't have to mention all of Quant's connection with Oracle given the kind of API connections and, of course, their partnerships in the past, right? So, yeah, it does really make you think, like, what's really going on behind the scenes?